George and Heidi, living in the Philippines. Philippine antics on my screen. Laughs and moments, fun and bright. Stream and enjoy every week. Life can be tough, so you've got to be free. What you feed, your mind and soul, is up to you. Livestream king, queen on the rise. In the tropics islands, feeling free. Adventures under the sun, we keep repeating. Learn love and life. Welcome to our crazy life. It's not what you say to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power. Come and see the fun we share. Life in the Philippines, everywhere. From the city lights to the beach, every segment in our reach, telling stories every day, expats and Filipino ways. Watch the magic come our way. Lights, camera, action, George and Heidi always near. Real life in expat life, it is what it is. Accept it, learn from it, grow from it, which we will. It doesn't matter what you've done, what matters is what you do from here. Returning to life, love, and the Philippines, let's begin. Welcome to our crazy life. It's not what you say to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power. Come and see the fun we share. Life in the Philippines, everywhere.
I'm wondering if we didn't even.
Oh no, it was fine.
No, it actually
Yeah.
wasn't. It actually was off. Good morning. Good morning. We're running behind. That's why we're doing a later live stream. George has been doing some things, so just kind of waiting. Busy there?
What?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, Heidi came back. I was like, baby, come back.
No, you didn't. Try to throw you out 3 times this week. There you are.
It's like Will Smith.
The one expat that he wished would leave wouldn't go. So, and
Curses foiled again, as they always say.
the one thing that will not leave the Philippines is a bad hair day either.
Oh, forget that. If you guys have frizzy hair,
Do we even know what happened to my headband, or did the cats get that? Oh, headband. No, bad hair days are a real thing here.
So before we start again, our hearts goes to all the ones that got affected by the tropical storm, and just again, our hearts go to them, and again,
A lot going.
yeah, for those of you who are not aware, just real quick,
Do you know what the unalive count is right now? It's up there. That was up near 30 or something. I'm not going to pretend we know the up-to-date statistics because that's pretty much what they are. So quite a few have passed away. I had some.
yeah, I mean, for those of you who are again wondering, like, how bad is it in certain areas? In certain areas, the flooding has gone all the way past the roof, and in certain areas, it's nothing. Like here, we fortunately, God willing, again, in our area, for the most
We're
part,
so
nothing
close to
really
the airport
happened.
here. We could walk to the
Right.
airport.
But in certain areas,
Super Typhoon Karina. It says 90 villages, 10 towns here in Pampanga, Bacolor, Upalit, Lubao,
Apalit, yeah,
Macabe or Macabe,
Macabebe,
Masanto,
Masantul,
okay, Mexico, Minalin, Susmuan, Stowe, Thomas, and city of San Fernando, where the family home is. It says they've suffered Quite a bit of flooding. They are under a state of calamity. Also on, sorry, let me pull this up so we
Yeah,
don't have any
no,
audio
I was
issues.
just gonna tell Heidi. Whenever you see, guys, when you
Oh,
see S, no, no,
stow.
no, no, no,
I
no,
always
no,
say stow here.
no, no,
stow.
no. I was just letting you guys know what STO means. It says Santo, which
Santo.
means saint.
Yeah, I say stow.
So just
or stow.
make your life easier if you say, STO. That just
Well,
say
so they'll say Santo Thomas and say
San, it's Santo Tomas.
they don't abbreviate it in any manner.
Well, that's abbreviated already. But that's the
How do
thing.
they say
It's
it?
saint.
They just say it out loud each time. That's just written
Santo.
down as
Santo is saint. Yeah. Santo Tomas.
Oh.
It's Spanish actually. That's Spanish. But yeah, no. Again,
There is, as of right now, 5.5 million US dollars in agricultural damage, and that seems to be to this area. So the area of Pampanga. So sorry, I had it inside. out.
right, and again, our
Running late.
president Bongbong Marcos is actually quick to respond, and he did send out the DSWD in response to certain. Well, actually, it's everywhere. So
Okay.
are you showing off your plastic dinosaur earrings?
Yeah, because it's almost a month before Christmas time starts.
Oh, right, they're Christmas earrings.
We're getting
Yeah.
near
So
the ember months.
if plastic dinosaurs are made out of plastic, that means they're made out of oil, and since they're made out of oil, that means they're
Probably really dinosaur.
correct. There you go, real dinosaurs.
So that's why we say they're real dinosaurs. So today's subject.
And yeah, good morning, magandang umaga, masating abak, mayang buntag. Good morning to you all. Hopefully, everybody's having a great morning or
Didn't you-
evening.
Did you
No,
start with that?
no. I didn't want to say good morning and then go into
You could have said good
dire
morning,
news,
and
yeah.
so that's why I should have left. So.
No. I mean, like I said.
Scott, we'll address what the topic is about. And this has been covered by several expats in the last month, okay, which fared really well with their videos in regards to this. And especially with what's going on now in the Philippines, we'll be going over why people will leave and what seems to be the biggest problems with expats, the ones that re-talk to us, the ones that you're going to see interviewed through the newspapers. There are multiple sources through Facebook. And we will go through like disappointment, habits they have, and we got a list of things that we will cover why, down to the cultural differences will cause them to actually leave too. So, oh snap!
Yeah, no, in California, Ted. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, again, it's really bad. What it was a couple years ago, was it when those wildfires just were out of control and it was like you're living in Mars? Yeah. Our huge park fire has climbed to 239,000 acres and 0% containment. Yes. The thing about it's weird that whenever everybody talks about California, they talk about the earthquakes and stuff. I'm like, that's the least you'll ever think about when you live in California. It's the wildfires. They go crazy. Yeah, no, I
Well,
know.
and here, weather will be one of the reasons people are leaving. So here's the thing: those flash floods came and they wiped quite a few cars out inside of Manila, Tondo, places here, motorcycles, trikes, and everything else. And expats that come here, okay, that wipes them out. They go buying houses, they go investing all of their money, and they decide to do things when they move over here, and they don't think about the place they've moved to, the areas. There was a lot of damage, and expats are involved in this. And after that happens once, they leave. So weather is definitely going to be one of them.
Well, I mean, if you put all your eggs in that basket and it gets wiped
Sorry,
out,
only probably 1% that come here actually have a well planned out retirement here. And there's nothing wrong with an unplanned retirement, but they tend to come over here, make a bunch of friends, get themselves a girlfriend, then they get themselves a wife, they get into a kid, then they want to buy her a house, and they go through all of this stuff, and they usually go to an area where they'll live. And they're used to just rebuilding and going on the next day, but these expats are investing a lot of money into the houses and the land area putting in her name, and then all gets wiped out. And
No, I mean,
there's a
you know, that will make anybody tuck their tail and run. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
But yeah,
And yeah, I mean, and then we could be talking about infrastructure. I mean, some people just can't handle it. We were watching videos yesterday again of Taiwan and other, Singapore and other Asian countries. Still, I'm like, is there ever going to be a time where the Philippines pulls together their infrastructure, their electrical outages, their internet, their food supply, their, everything out of stock, get the roads together, the trash system and unemployment system. And there's like a whole group of things. But in general, I mean, with the new visa coming, the nomad, if it's going to be close to the same as the other countries, they might tend to go to those other countries to work versus the Philippines because they want to be competitive with the new visa.
yeah, no. Well, I mean, it's hard to say, to be honest with you. The thing is, again, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is the setup is not right. We've been way off. Is it too close up? Because your mic and everything's not in the same. I have to
it
stop
is
and
because
ask.
that's awfully close.
Okay, well. Okay,
hmm
your mic.
Oh well, I mean, you don't have to look at the mic. Honestly, I mean, most of the time. Again, that was way too forward
Okay,
for some dumb
I
reason.
pushed it
I don't
back.
know.
Okay, because I was adjusting. You always say it's way back. So, anyways,
Anyway,
anyways.
MB says, looks like I'm first. Ricky Bobby style. There you go. If you're not first, you're last. There you go. Ricky Bobby.
Okay, I'm just looking at you.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing?
Good
Hello,
morning.
roomies. Hello, Heidi and George. Ted says, let's hit that like button on the way and in like Ricky when George is away. There you go. Was
Oh,
a full
wait.
moon.
I don't
No,
know.
no, 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 no. I mean, I was just trying to think if I thought it would already passed, but I don't really, I keep track, but not really. Max Ryder, hello, Heidi and George. Victor C says liked. Thank you so much, Victor C. Walter Brown says good evening
Thank you,
from
Victor.
Washington State.
Hey, Walter.
Oh, that's a good point. Not of right now. For example,
I mean, who would be considered famous?
well, that's a good point. I mean, honestly, most expats are not famous unless
No,
they're
they're not.
actors. You're right.
So if you're talking about who I would consider at the top of the, we've said this before, Filipinos. So that are actually
Well,
doing
they
content.
said
So
they said expats though.
no, I know that. So
I mean, unless they're actors. Even
Yeah.
Kulas is still not.
he's probably about the most famous one that I know. So
Yeah,
if you're
even-
talking about
even-
further down, like Old
Well-
Dog or somebody like that, no, nobody in that group.
Now, again, just remember what we're saying is what we perceive and what's reality. Again, not picking on Pablo. I'm just saying that a lot of people say, "Oh, this vlogger is the biggest in the Philippines." Oh, this no, because you know why? Because when you arrive here, they'll be like, "Who's that?" You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is popularity is subjective.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Where's
Probably
Ricky?
never coming back if it was up to me.
Oh dang! Brent.
Because
Sorry.
George can't get his crap together. Rick
Black
sure
Grandpa
can.
says, shout out from Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Nagai Vapes,
Hey.
good morning, good evening, everyone. Racer X. Hey, Heidi and George, South Carolina
Good
in the house. Hi, peeps.
morning.
Interesting name.
We had like two
deleted.
or three subjects this morning, and George went doing something, and then we had to scrap. And this whole thing was going to be about the typhoon and different things, but we're not allowed to for multiple reasons. We could get a strike from it. We could get demonetized. There's like 3 or 4 things that could happen just from us covering all of that like we really want to.
Okay,
And
so
we had to scrap the whole idea we were thinking about yesterday.
but
And
what
so,
a lot of people aren't aware, YouTube actually has a lot of realistic rules, and there's a lot of things you're not really
or you
supposed
get
to
shadow
put up.
banned. We
But
don't want the rest of our videos shadow
it's-
banned.
It's kind of weird. Meaning, what I'm saying is,
So
like,
frustrating.
there is no blanket rule, if that makes any sense. It
Just
doesn't.
because
It doesn't make
others are
sense.
doing it,
It doesn't
mean
make
it's
sense. That's the
okay
point.
to do it.
It's, for example, like somebody could show their a-hole, no, really, and
No, it was real.
and they won't get a strike, but and somebody else does it and they will.
Right. There was another.
And I'm talking about. I'm not being. This is
No,
literal.
there was a
literal.
YouTuber
I'm
that
being
has
literal.
2 million
Yes.
subscribers, and he got an official strike where 10 other channels of his size was covering the same subject.
Correct.
And he took everything out and did everything they said, and they made a permanent strike
Right.
on him. And actually, the next time they'll just actually take it. So the video's been removed, and he has the strike.
Correct.
And so what we're saying is, I told George I get tired of it. He gets tired of it, or we
Well,
would do a lot more. We
YouTube
get other
rules
channels
are Morpheus,
but
put it that way.
we're
They're
not
very Morpheus.
we're not untouchable. We're not untouchable by any
Well, nobody
means.
is. Even that guy, he has millions of
Oh, bull crap. I
subscribers.
got to say this, not untouchable, but if we did like 10 other channels do here in the Philippines, down to troll up to
Okay,
expat
but what I'm
coverage,
saying is
they don't go down for the
even
same
he
stuff.
has millions of
We
subscribers.
have
Even
we have
he
double trouble
is,
trolls.
Even YouTube hit him, and he's got millions of subscribers.
Either way,
The
so
point
all I
being
know is I
there
wanted to
is
cover
no-
this.
Guys, just trust us. I mean, we're not gonna, make.
Okay,
this
so
stuff
you
for
don't discount because of who we are on our channel that we don't get hit more than others. That's the
I
point I'm
just
trying to
said
make.
there's inconsistency. Babe, what do you want me to say
Okay.
more? I mean, the guy again is a way above us, and he gets hit,
Okay.
but the others don't. That's the point. The fact that there's no.
Either way,
I mean,
it's,
it has nothing to do with me or us. It's YouTube. But anyway,
well, whatever.
now the Racer X says, okay. Actually, I keep saying this on the back end, but without overemphasizing it. The problem we have when you hit the Philippines is, again, it was that bad in Cebu City, from what I heard from the girlfriend.
Mhm.
And no, she's not lying. She's not lying.
Quite a bit of the country.
The more metropolitan your area is, the odds of flooding will occur. Why? Because if you're in the province,
for like 3 days, I've been gathering information, and just as I got all the videos together and all this, and then what we thought could pass, and it's just been a hot
Right.
mess.
So when these monsoon rains, hurricanes, and typhoons, whatever you choose to call them, whenever these rains occur, all the rainwater drops. Here you have, at least here they alert you. In the U.S., I don't think they ever did. They did the orange alert, red alert, that kind of deal. What I'm saying is,
Minimizing this.
right, no, I know. So when it rains, the water has to go somewhere. When you're in a province, it goes into the land, into the mud.
Like
It sinks
Bulacan.
right in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Bulacan's
So,
a
for
big
example, metropolitan areas. Well, Bulacan isn't metropolitan, but it's somewhat because it's the warehouse capital of Philippines. That's where all the warehouses are. So that means a lot of concrete. Concrete is not a very good substrate in absorbing water, so therefore the water stays up there. And the reason for this is, when I'm saying the flooding, is because unlike the U.S., every time you designate a a business zone in the U.S., they designate a retention pond. Here in the Philippines, do they? Yes, but you guys know how it works. Yada yada yada. It's not. The ratio is off, and therefore, the more metropolitan you are, the odds of flooding are. So that's why Cebu City, Metro Manila, those kind of areas tend to flood more than the other areas. Kind of like right now here, you're like, well, don't you live in English City or in Mabalacat? Yes, but you know
Mhm.
what? The thing is, if you go 2 street blocks down, it's farmland. It's kind of weird. It's like it's a facade of
A big city.
of big city, but you go 2 street blocks down.
And we can't really show a whole lot. We own several drones. It's because we're so close to the airport. So it's something
It's
within
there.
how many
We're in a
miles?
no-fly zone, 2 miles, not kilometers.
Yeah.
2 miles. In 2 miles, technically, all the
Or
way
we
to
would be
Malabañas,
showing.
you're not supposed to fly your
You
drone.
can do a low level like you guys seen Brian
Rooftop
do.
level. Rooftop level.
Yeah.
You can do rooftop levels. That's
And
it.
but you can't
You
do.
can't go higher than that. But yeah, no. And that's why, yes, Cebu City. The reason why I mentioned that is because some of you will be like wondering, like, well, it's a modern city. Why is it suffering from flooding? That's why, because
And
retention
then
ponds is
so
offset.
yeah. So yeah, which is one of the things in our actual list, because the actual natural things that happen here, like the mudslides, the typhoons, the natural disasters, it becomes an actual problem, and so it will cause expats to leave for sure.
Right.
Earthquakes.
Now, this is
Um,
part of the topic. Among all these videos, honestly, I've only seen
hey Cedric.
one expat out in these floods. Like literally, he's in waist deep floods. So it's he's in a bad area, but not bad area as far as flooding. I'm saying he's as far as flooding is concerned, he's in a bad area for flooding, and it was waist deep.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning, Geechee Lions in the
Hey,
house. Hey,
Gichi Anwar, how you
sweetie.
doing? So now there's only one expat I've seen in all these tons of videos. There's tons of videos out there. Again, we can't show you, unfortunately.
Good morning, Streak Philippines. Good morning.
Morning. Huh? Oh, morning. How you doing? Sorry. The
Hi.
name, what do you call that? It eluded me. So
A lot of things been eluding him.
now, all the time. No, really.
It's been a busy morning, so
I'm just a guy who talks to cats, put it that way. So what I'm saying is, now there's not a lot of expats in these videos because honestly, for the most part, the thing is, when it comes to Filipinos and expats, that's where the contrast comes. And what I'm saying is, when there's like times of strife, some whether a disaster, whether it's man-made or not, Filipinos tend to go out there and want to see it. Most Westerners have the basic instinct of, I'm gonna sit right here and stay out of harm's way. So what I'm saying is,
and nothing wrong with that.
right
But
now, the only video I've seen of the expat out in the flood, okay, is an expat wading through the water, and he was headed towards the closed restaurant. So that tells me, which makes sense. If he's a tourist, odds are he doesn't have stocks. I mean, stockage of food. That's what I'm saying. So he's probably looking for some place to eat. And
which is going to cause an issue because when this all happens, like this, I had tons of clips and photos and like ready to go on it, and then I was like, yeah, no. But the stuff that I've seen so far in footage is like a lot of cars, motorcycles, houses. They're all underwater, and so there's a lot of damage. So for the older expats, or for like me, where I'm disabled, older, and it's hard to get around, if everything in this house is wiped out, if I didn't have George, it would, put you twice as bad in a situation where I'd have to, go wade out in water, which we're not in this area. But let's just say I did move where people have advised people to go move, and they're in these areas. and it's like you don't want to be in that dirty water. We discussed our kids
Oh my
playing, and people
gosh.
and adults are out there just wading around,
Well, they swim
vlogging,
and
and they're
everything, yeah.
swimming, and it's like, speaking of poo water, kind of like walking street. There, I mean,
It's
all
bacteria
the
filled. Yeah.
it is, and after a few days, it gets even worse. So
Correct.
most of you guys know the things that come along and the diseases that come along with being in that dirty water after a few days. And so everything, a lot of the Philippines right now has the flooding, and the water is starting to subside. But for somebody elderly or disabled like me and not doing well in that kind of situation without a Filipino, it would be really rough right now.
No, it
So,
is, and they did show on
yeah, it could be stuck
the
in the top of a
major.
condo or something.
Yeah.
And
Well, they showed in the major news network. She was 78 years old. She was living by herself, and her house is flooded. And
mhm.
you feel for them, and you're like, oh my gosh. And
The animals out there. There was a guy, they
yes,
showed
animals.
one
Yes.
guy, and I'm sure there were more, don't get me wrong, but they showed a guy that's been going out rescuing cats and dogs because they're on top of the roofs or they're stuck in the houses. But George was saying a prayer yesterday for the ones that they lock in cages,
That's
which
my
is
concern. And
very
the ones
common.
that they put chains on, and for example, Willie, we never put a chain on him. Actually, I never put chains on my dogs
But
ever.
they do a lot
But
here
a
in
lot,
Mexico.
well, it's a common practice in a lot of countries, even in the U.S.
Well,
They chain their
it's
dogs, but
I think they stopped the chaining thing a long time ago. I mean, I know you're allowed to do some stuff, but some states it's outlawed to put
well,
chains
put it
on
this way:
dogs.
it's so common. Our Airbnb has a chaining post. What it means is there's a spot where you can chain your dog.
Well, yeah. So they chain them down, they lock them down, they can't get away. So when these flash floods come, they come quick. Like it showed several
Right.
barges that were crashing together. It showed like cars. And here's another thing. I was thinking about those brand new cars and the way families invest
Oh my
in one
God.
car. All at once, all their cars are gone. They're in payments and everything else. A lot of them aren't keeping
No, it
insurance and all those cars, motorcycles. But when the flash floods come through, the animals are,
yeah.
like George said, the loose ones will just keep running or they'll get on top of, something.
Most of the free
and
ones will find a way to get out,
yeah.
but
So
the ones that are locked up, unfortunately,
it's very
that's
sad.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now, our heart goes to most of these people. And when I say these people, I'm talking about the working class, aka not just the working class. What I'm saying is, for example, these jeepneys. I mean, they have to park them somewhere, right?
Oh man.
And guess what?
Well, they're going to be obsolete here in a little bit, and they're just going to get them new
Well, but that doesn't mean they
I
have to, they lose their income, they lose their jeepneys, they lose their the tricycles. There's a lot of tricycles that are actually underwater right now. Well, now they're probably not anymore, but point being, that's loss of income. And Grab drivers, same thing. They have a ton of scooters out there that were underwater, and everybody knows, internal combustion engine underwater, dead. Now, for those of you who are wondering, like, well, what about the e-vehicles? Well, guess what? The servo motors are going to work, aka the engines, because servo motors are one per each wheel that powers it. However, the batteries, the moment the water hits the battery, it will die within 6 months, guaranteed. So
I'm just gonna jump straight to it.
Well, I'm saying that includes e-trike, scooters, and everything. Yes, done for. Done for. So think about it this way.
Just once, I just want George to say they're home.
I said it.
Go into
I said it. But
if the vehicle at the bottom becomes rusted,
no,
in
no,
3
no,
months it
babe,
becomes
babe.
super
A lot of
particles of the
people don't
hydroparticles of the
realize that
sarfination,
that
and then all of a sudden, when they're driving down the road in 369 days and 20 seconds, the wheels will fall off on that bus.
no, honestly, I go that deep. Honestly,
He does.
you guys can again. Most of everything I say on air is very an abridged version, a very short version.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because things go deeper than whatever they are, regardless of subject. Trust me. Really, I wish I could literally spew my mouth up. But anyway,
Hey,
so what I'm saying is
Sarah.
e-trike, scooters, I'm talking about the little tiny scooters that everybody, like parents, like rely on these to pick up
Everything. The
their
only
kids
person
from
making it
school.
around is guys on actual bikes, and if they keep that up, the chains are
What
going
are
to
you talking
rust
about?
up.
Even bicycles. The moment a bicycle goes underwater, it's done.
Well, I know, but they're still riding around now, though. I'm seeing them
But
everywhere.
now
It's
you're
up
like,
to the
okay, what does
seats.
this have to do with
And
expats?
I'm like, what?
Well, guess what? You can have the best plan, the best insurance.
Mhm.
None of it's going to cover this.
It's
Acts
like
of
in
God.
the U.S., right? So the difference is you're so far away from home, and then you lose access to the ATMs, the banks, the
Oh, what
hospitals
ATM?
have dirt. And so, again, this plays into one of the reasons people do reconsider. So it's part of the, we were still able to leave some of it in there. We'll get your guys' comments here in the morning or in the morning in a moment. Sorry, guys. I've been on antibiotics and allergy meds and everything. My immune system's been down. So that's why you're seeing me rubbing my eyes. My skin's been breaking out. But disappointment and expectation versus reality ties into what we're talking about, the weather.
It's cobweb. It's all connected, guys. It's all holistic.
I always tell you guys when I got here, we left during the pandemic. And it's because we had my monthly income that was coming in. George still has some residual income. And then we have where, like, he's doing the social media thing, we have savings. And so we're like, listen, we can just leave early instead of going in 10 years to the Philippines. There's a lot of businesses closing things. When we left, it was the height of the big C, and it was really getting dark and things were really getting messed up. So we're like, okay, it's really cheap to live in Mexico. Let's go on over there and explore. And we just started the YouTube channel. And we're like, this would be great. And I've never spent long periods of time. I've been on a cruise ship and went into Mexico. And so experienced it that way and did some ports and was in, of course, the tourist areas of Mexico. But as far as um, coming here, I had so many more expectations, and I've been to the Middle East and Europe and Canada and of course Mexico, and I've traveled a lot of places, but I wasn't older. So it's one thing to be older versus being younger and traveling to some countries. So it's for me, I had a lot of expectations of, oh, everything's going to be dirt cheap and all of this is going to be happening. And I started watching a lot more vloggers while he was out working 16-hour days. And I'm like, oh, this will happen and this will happen. I'm going to get a housekeeper and I'm going to, all these things are going through your head and this will be cheap and that'll be cheap. And it's not the same as what you're actually, so living through social media vicariously, like through all the vloggers during the big C, and on an everyday basis of moving to the Philippines is a lot different than the reality of getting here. And a lot of them in TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, what's the other one? Snapchat. A few of them, when they show you what's going on in these foreign countries, they're more showing you on the side of caution. And that's fine because you're only allowed to say so much on social media. Now, others are actually saying things, but and then I found sometimes it's the extreme. Like I keep seeing people like, I'm real and I'm so real and this is what's really happening. And then you're like, okay. And so then you have to start thinking about that. And that's why we always say that you guys really want to check things out. Oh, man. You that's there. It didn't stay on. That would be why.
That's weird. It snapped. You heard it. Anyway, sorry. It just so happened it was a. I'm even sorry.
Hold on.
No.
It's not broken. So, anyways, what you got around your neck? Okay, so anyways, it's not broken. It's not closed all the way. So, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Is that a jalapeno?
No, it's a leaf. So we both have little vials around our neck. Let's
It
see
looks
yours.
like a jalapeno.
Let me see yours, George.
What is this?
I put it around your neck this morning. You didn't even ask what was in there. What did you think was in there?
I thought it was pea.
Close.
It smells like pee. No, really. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm joking. But
Remember when we met what I said that I would do?
this is my bath water.
It's my bath water.
It's not. It's a weird pea color. Oh no! It's a number 2. Oh my gosh! Even better.
Let's give them something to talk about.
One George
This
in a
is
cup.
brought-
Just saying. One
this
George
is-
in a cup. Here we
this-
go. Here we go. One George in a cup.
This is brought to you by Spread Philippine Antics around because we got nothing better to do. Dum-dum-dum-dum. Yeah, it's supposed to be bath water.
Oh, okay.
That's George's bath water. No, I used to
No, no,
say,
no.
baby, I
No,
drink
no,
your
no.
bath
No,
water
no,
and wear it
this
around
is-
my neck.
No,
It's
perf-
Coca-Cola.
Is it Coke?
Yes,
It's-
that's what you see me mix in there was Coca-Cola and
Oh,
water.
even
You
better.
Stop.
It's Coke. That didn't sound right. Pablo Escobar would be proud. But anyway,
these are necklaces that you could see in the middle. It's Coca-Cola, right? But these are meant to put they're meant for ashes and
No,
stuff
no. Well,
and
babe, I know
bath
that.
water.
I know that.
This is the bath water from the love of my life.
Okay, Delphine. But anyway,
Who's Delphi?
she sold her bath water. Gamer girl. Anyway.
I'm gonna sell yours.
So what do you mean? She made millions for crying out loud.
Oh, I doubt we make. I say, are you interested? Hey, you can sell my bath water anyways.
There you go. For $5.99. But wait, there's more.
Anyways, guys.
Yeah. Now the thing is, again, is one of the main reasons why.
Hey, Ruby. Good morning.
Why
Good
expats
morning, Mike
leave.
Ross. PH Preppers in the house.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have somebody named Deleted in the house.
I know it's kind of funny.
Yeah, Thera, Brian Nichols. And if we didn't mention Racer X, Pablo, Bob, Broccoli, but it's with 1C. Yeah, international travel is complex and is topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Jen Rutter's with us. Good morning, Heidi and George. And okay, actually, Walter Brown. Yes, that is actually one of them.
And
Could
actually it
medical
is, so-
care be a reason?
So yeah, we'll take that off the list here. Yes.
Saw a video from Philippine. Discussed pretty sobering about medical emergencies and hospital care in the Philippines.
We've
your
seen
opinion.
a few of his.
No,
we have
no,
not
no,
seen
no.
anything
Yeah, no,
of his recently.
It's
I
a real
mean,
thing, yeah.
well, first off, we wouldn't need to watch a video to know what we know from other expats. We were
Hi,
here in
Steve.
the pandemic.
Steve Johnson.
And we will watch that. Steve Johnson, check him out, Philippine Info Channel, great channel. We still watch him, but we've been like really busy with our birthday month. And this week we were celebrating my birthday. Last week was George's. We went to a resort. We've been doing different things, but for the last 2 days, I've been down on antibiotics, ear infection, sinus infection. And now that I'm taking antibiotics and steroids, my immune system's down. So it feels like even when a piece of cat hair or wind blows by, I feel like I've got like a who knows, but I am doing better. I'm doing better than I was yesterday, but we have not had a chance to watch anything of his recently. He is one of the channels we watch along with Sunshine Shoulders, our Philippine Journey. We watch some of his stuff when we get a chance. And so wouldn't need to watch to know what's really going on here because I had to make a commitment inside of my own head in a full conversation. Like, I went over there in the corner and I was like, hey, listen, Heidi, you know that there's not going to be any good health. Yeah, I know there's not going to be, Heidi. And I'm like, Heidi, you know that this is going on and you're only going to have this, and that, and there's certain medications you're, yeah, I think I understand that, but the rent's cheap, right? And it's going to get really bad. You can end up in a public hospital. And did you say public? So it's
Now, full disclosure, I never have a conversation with myself. I always get a sock puppet and then talk to myself, right? Yeah, exactly. See?
go ahead.
Isn't that much more better? I agree. I think so. See? You know what I'm saying?
Snap. Here, or we can just do this. So, did you know that ambulances show up in about 9 hours? And you got to pay for the
Definitely
gas.
so.
If they run out of gas midway, they're going to have to stop and get gas, right?
Yes.
I'm not talking to your hand. I'm gonna talk to myself first.
All right. So no, but in all seriousness, again, no, health is an important thing again.
And no, it is. There's a lot of good facts on his channel. It's
If
true.
if your health relies on the US medication, meaning do your research, only you know what your conditions are. If you can now, if there are no substitutes, because remember, there's a lot of substitutes as far as medication concerned. If there are no substitutes for your
Yeah, but
condition,
we're talking about people that's already probably on dialysis, that's had a few heart
yeah, something like that.
surgeries.
Yeah, then no, don't
People that are
don't come
super
here.
super terminal, like as I'm to understand, Jewel, that's over in Dumagetti, as I'm to understand, he was really sick for a while, and so if you know you have a lot of conditions now, I know you guys hear that I'm sick all the time, but mine are within a reach of being able to be taken care of by doctor's appointments. I go and do blood work. I go over to Clark, and over there they've got all kinds of specialties. So with my lupus, I have my regimen of medicines. I tend to go on steroids a lot, hence why I've been gaining a lot of weight. Now it's it's stuff that can be treated. Now, can I end up with a kidney issue later? And have I had kidney issues? Yes, but I don't need dialysis. Do I have blood pressure issues? Yes, I can get my medicine. Here's the one thing that we've been asked over and over again, and people are just going to be in denial if they say, oh, this isn't me, because I know there's a lot of them that are just by their actions. You will not get psych meds here. You can, but it's not going to be the stuff that they're getting in Canada and in the United States, and wherever else people are coming from, is not readily available here without like going to a hospital. They just don't have it as available here as they would somewhere else. And a lot of the heavy duty stuff you can just forget about. If it comes down to heavy duty pain meds, you're really going to need those direct from a hospital. So it's like tramadol is about the strongest thing that you're going to get. So, you can get some ibuprofen, you can get sinus medicines, you can get heart medicines. The doctors that you go to will know what scripts to write you to get them. So, but we had a person that said that was strictly all of their disability, and they were wanting to come over, and they were on all these medicines, and I'm like, don't come. The Philippines is not a place for somebody who has high anxiety, depression, bipolar. Um, there was a PSTD, post
It
traumatic
depends
stress disorder. So
on
it depends on what it is and whether it's treatable.
yeah.
I know that the embassy put out a notice about that for
PTSD has different
military
forms.
people, right? That they said that they do offer help with, but that's something that's with the, US embassy and between the veterans and all of that. But I would not recommend. There was a female that came here about 2 years ago, and she had not had her meds. That was that girl with the family and stuff. And what had happened is she totally went off of her meds and couldn't find him anywhere. And she was like, she stopped blogging for a while. And so actually there were two. As a matter of fact, there's the one that was in BGC, and then there was one that was in Cebu. That was a younger one, not the 40 or 50-year-old mother that's here with the kids. This was another one. But either way, it's just not a place for mental health problems, because the country will try you. I mean, you guys have seen how easy I would get frustrated, or I'd be like, hey, this is going on, and oh my God. Because as a female, okay, guys, all the expats out there and other channels, as a female, we feel our feelings. Okay. And so it is overwhelming to see all the sick animals and sick kids and the public, this and that. And it's a lot of adjustment. So you're going to be trying to adjust plus deal with medical issues. So
Right. No. Yeah, no.
a lot going on.
Actually, it has nothing to do with.
And medical would just,
It has
yeah.
nothing to do with sexuality, whether I identify as a male or female.
Oh,
Actually, has nothing to do with that. What it is, it's if you have certain mental disorders.
no, I'm just saying as a woman,
disorders.
I'm seeing twice as
What
much.
I'm
It's
saying
the thing
is-
I'm not off the rocker.
Is if you're having a hard time in the West, you'll have a hard time. Not necessarily anywhere.
You will. You'll come here
well-
with those issues, and
Well,
then
that's what I'm saying.
it'll be
It doesn't
10
matter
times
where
worse.
you go. It's because you took yourself out of familiarity into something unfamiliar. Now your anxiety is on overdrive. That's what I was getting.
Oh, good morning.
I'm
Our
saying?
Philippine journey's
So what
here.
I'm saying is, depending on
Mike and Arlen.
your mental condition, okay. What I'm saying is, when you have a certain mental conditions, your comfort zone is your comfort zone, meaning your familiarity. Doesn't matter where you go. The moment you leave your familiar zone, that's when you get the anxiety kick in. Again, you can go from California to New York. That would just same country, but different environment. Now part of this again, well, actually, let me.
What's that?
Yeah, we were talking about health. Yes.
Oh,
I'm trying
sorry.
to figure out. No. I'm trying to figure out if I go on because it's
Well,
kind
we
of-
went through the disappointment, expectation, health. Let's get into. We went through weather. The other one I'm going to discuss is if we were kind of in that realm of people not giving up their habits and medication, mental
habits.
health. That would be habits, partying, party favors. So I'm not going to mention what it is, alcohol,
I like this.
and then all the party
like this subject.
favors, popping
Wait.
bobas,
There you go.
boba, ice candy, snow cash, snow caps, um, snow high, with or without the mountaintop, and cherry fire and lollipop lime.
What?
Can't have it here.
I would.
So just drop all your habits is all I'm saying.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say stuff, but I'm pretty sure all of them are not our ex-Nate on YouTube. But anyway, so
No, there's a lot of drinking going on here. One of the photos that I had showed the Filipinos.
hey, you
And
can
not trying
drink.
to
Nobody's
they-
stopping you from that.
right, but these guys were sitting on a bench submerged in water out there drinking the clear whatever that clear stuff is.
Well, you're probably talking about Cuatro Cantas Ginebra.
Yeah.
You can probably
Ginebra.
you can win a Hilux Toyota or
I mean, it's probably what is
a
it?
Honda Click.
What does it cost for the clear bottles that are like this size? The little ones.
They run about
Fairly
okay.
inexpensive, right? Like 100
I'm
pesos.
guessing. No, probably 50 pesos.
Okay, so they were just sitting there drinking,
Maybe
and
50
while the
pesos.
water is
It's the
passing
ones that come in
through at the
sachets
ocean.
for our members only. We sent you sachets. Well, the photo of the sachet, that kind of.
No, they were just sitting there in the water, submerged, probably catching ringworm and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, but think
drifting
about
by.
it. What are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna sit there with your friends in the pool water, or
I'm not
you're
gonna sit in the pool
home
water drinking.
or you're gonna sit home in pool water and drink by yourself. Coke. I don't know.
I don't know, but
Well,
it
what I'm
seems like
saying-
an all natural disasters.
Well-
That's what I see. No shirts and drinking.
I mean, what I'm saying is, for those of you who don't
What do you play,
realize,
checkers?
most of these people don't have anywhere to go. What I'm saying is, for example, we have a second floor. If that happens, obviously we'll be stuck at the second floor and staying there. But most of these people don't have a second floor, so they're stuck.
Well, yeah, I mean they're out there playing the water. But my point is, as I was just mentioning this on the side, is that
yeah.
the expats come here, and the same with the United States with the influx of the foreigners bringing in the party favors. They do have foreigners bringing in party favors, and they're distributed here so people know where to get them. We had that guy that had the grow house in Cebu. There's others that attempt to do this. You want to stay out of that and all that, but when they can't get a hold of it, or they get in trouble and get arrested or other issues, when they can't, what is that?
Puppies fighting
Puppies
each
fighting.
other.
So that would be a reason some of them are leaving, is they just get into trouble by the drinking, or not getting what they need, or red cherry popsicles, green ones, white snow cap popsicles, all of that stuff.
Well,
Hmm.
no. I was trying to say things without being blunt about it. What I'm saying is, be aware too that for those of you who have habits, you can't just go you're doing it. No, 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 no. Cold turkey. I'm flying to the Philippines tomorrow.
And some do attempt it, and then
Don't
after
do
about
that.
6
That's
months,
the
they
worst thing you
lose
can
it.
do, because when you arrive
I
here,
can do it.
you'll be jonesing, and then you're gonna get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, which someone will jump into instant relationships, marriages. They're getting their duck sucked, and all of this stuff is going on, and they're like, life is good.
Well, not to
And then
mention,
eventually, something's going to trigger you, just like I was saying here.
well,
That the last one to cover is the cultural difference and the subtleness. So, in other words, there's something you can deal with 100 times over. And after about 4 or 5 years, that same situation will just hit you in the head. So, if you're trying to go cold turkey on cigarettes and alcohol and certain things or habits that you have, it's just going to be rough. And I see here, I just seen this statement. Lawson PH says, I keep hearing the Philippines lifestyle might melts away stress and anxiety and depression.
well, it depends.
Yeah, we're not saying it's all doom and gloom.
No, yeah, no. Again, it depends on
But
your situation, and it depends on, there is no cookie cutter solution for everybody. To some people, again, you
but if
come to
it
the
comes,
Philippines, it
but
fixes everything. To some people, it makes it worse.
if it comes down to melting away the stress and all of that, which means you might have, you're trying to get out of the rat race and all of that. Um, there are some things that are nice. Okay. For me, okay, it was a cheaper place to live. It's where my husband's from. So there's family here. And so we always say there's like a trade off, there's like a pull or something. Now, if visas were better in some countries, and if we had more finances, which we never claimed to be rich, okay, this channel has never claimed to have been rich. Would you consider going to another country?
Huh?
If visas were better, like easier to obtain, long term, like, at least you're a citizen here, is what I'm saying. Would you go live in Thailand or Vietnam? Would you consider living in Germany? Would you consider going to the Netherlands or somewhere else? Infrastructure wise, weather wise, all of that. If you hit the lottery tomorrow, would you actually move? I can't say that we came here to melt away stress. That is for sure.
Well, okay,
What I'm
I won't go
saying,
as far as lottery, because
because a lot of guys are claiming to have the money. If you guys have the money, then there's reasons to come, and then there's other things that people aren't aware of before they move here, and this is the reason why people are leaving.
No, I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
so so what I'm saying is, like, if we hit the lottery tomorrow and had like 10, 20 million in the bank, and visas were easy to obtain long term with, well, I guess with that kind of money, then I guess it would be. But there are some difficulties in immigration in some countries.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not the kind of guy who would leave the country that easy. What I'm saying is,
Oh, of course, we don't have any. I mean,
I would look at things more like, how would I make my life easier for me here now, rather than
which we do on a
let me run to a
basis.
different country and see if I can find.
Yeah, we don't run away.
There's
easy.
those are two different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why we always explain why we left the US earlier than we thought, was because there was really something dark going on, during the, we left
Well, it was
in
just a bad
February.
time.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody was in a bad time. All,
That's why
all
I
the
said it's
restaurants
just a
were
bad
closing,
time.
all the businesses, all the small businesses were closing, hard to get employees. It just kind of went on and on and on. So it
Yeah.
was, the shelves were empty of stock. People were getting meaner by the day. It's like, got to take you way back. What would that have been? 2020, February, 2021. So, yeah. So either way, anyways, so there's a lot going on. It's kind of I'm just saying that yes and no. Is it taking you out of the rat race on a female perspective? Yes. I mean, Filipinos are nicer. I'm not going to like recant or, on that one. Filipinos are nicer. They are more laid back, but then you're dealing with the other issues of the cultural differences of Some things take forever to get done. It could take you to get one thing done. It could take you hours to get something done where you could have got 5 things done in the US. We're always like, gotta get done, gotta get done. We're always in a rush. So you get to slow down, yes. And when you get to quit your job in the US or when you leave the US, yes, you're slowing down. If you move out to the beach and you're out there just, kind of like how Sunshine's been going out there to his little vacation thing. Yeah, sure, it'll melt away the stress and you'll be out there chilling. And, like when we went on vacation, we were chilling. But there's a trade-off for living in the country. So his life and others are not, paradise 24/7. It's just the illusion. And so there are some people that come here and they don't last very long at all. So we said that if you took 100 guys, I'm going to bet 70 of them, 60 or 70 actually leave. And it's for one reason or another. Paul, Old Dog New Tricks, covered that too. He went through talking about guys, if it's not one thing that'll get you, it's another. And some just can't deal with the medical and then they leave. They go to one public hospital or one hospital that's available. And sometimes public is the one they go to. And then, they're going to go home. So there's like, yeah, I can't deal. So there'll be something, the straw that breaks the camel's back, for sure.
Well, speaking of the straw that breaks the camel's back, this storm is one of them. And
that was me last night, babe.
Now, bear with me. I'm gonna paint you a picture. I'll try to paint as fast as I can.
Oh boy.
You're a fresh expat in the Philippines. You just arrived. Well, relatively just arrived, and then you met the girl of your dreams, Filipina. You guys live in Tondo. Again, there's a lot of expats living in Tondo. No shame in that, honestly. There really isn't. It's just it's got a bad name to it, and it's overpopulated area. But remember, it's an overpopulated area. So you live there, and then you poured in money, fix up their little tiny house, whatever lot they have, you fix it up, and then this happens.
Real quick, Streak said the real truth about the Philippines is it's cheap and available women. And I think that's the one thing with their what do we call that? Their peanut brain, their whatever, love brain. I am being nice.
All right. So
is in the guy's head is, hey, I'm gonna go get a woman. And well, you know how men think. Like I said, we're emotional. Men are thinking about, the next hairless situation going on.
right.
But yeah, so I just want to say you're right on that.
So again, you're in Tondo. Again, you're
rent's cheap is what I'm thinking.
You're dishing out money for your Filipino girlfriend or wife, however, doesn't matter. I mean, again, don't know where you're at in your relation there. And then you start fixing up their house, and then this happens. I'm talking about. So now this happens. I'm talking about this giant, deluge of water, and everything's flooded. The house is ruined because, everything you own, your TV, your electronics,
and
whatever.
Some guys don't have the money to rebuild.
Gone. Okay. Now, to make things worse, guess what? You're stuck there in Tondo, and then you're in the heart of Tondo. I mean, Tondo is a big place, guys. It's a big place. So what I'm saying, you're stuck there in the middle of Tondo, and you're like, what do you mean you're stuck? Couldn't you get a jeepney or a tricycle? No, you can't, because guess what? They're all gone because they're water damage. Okay, so now you're stuck to either you have to hike yourself to the nearest ATM. You hike for 4 kilometers to the nearest ATM. Guess what? They're down. Why? Well, either if they have electricity, they probably don't have electricity. And if they do, they're probably down permanently because they got flooded, meaning the electronics, everybody knows, computer, water, dead.
And real quick, and on a side note, in the U.S., when a storm happened in Florida, this didn't happen all the time. You might prep for a storm, but it might have happened every couple of years, every 5 years. The storms of the century happen here several times a year. It can be. Well, you could be in flooding several times. What I'm saying
depends on the area.
This won't be a one-time situation.
Okay, so here you are again. You've walked several miles, and then the closest ATMs around you are all dead. Okay, so here's the sad part. No, I'm talking about reality here. I'm not making these up. And you're like, dang it. Let me walk another 4 kilometers. Maybe I can make it to the BGC, get to an ATM there. You get to BGC.
Get to the ATM. Oh, it works. Oh my gosh.
No funds.
Oh my God! Someone was saying they could get $100,000.
No funds. Remember, whenever there's a storm, don't go to an ATM. The probability of it having any money is,
Certain days of the week in Angels, you're not going to find it.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, when there's
Or
storms, forget it.
Mavalaka.
Forget it. Usually, when the storm's coming, there's lines and lines of people on ATMs. How do I know this? Experience.
Yes.
I don't care what the internet tells you. Reality is different than internet.
And pause on that because somebody in the expat forum was telling people you can get 100,000 out of an ATM at BDO,
Yeah,
and
no.
they said it was BDO and
Oh my gosh.
what's the one over
Lies.
here? They mentioned like
Oh.
3 banks, 100,000 pesos out of
Now.
an ATM.
I'm not making this up. Have people actually said this in the line in the ATM?
That would be 2,000 US
Right.
dollars,
Well,
and
yeah.
unless your limit is set to a certain amount in the US, I'm not aware. Isn't there a limit like 500, 800,000, 2,000 in the US?
Yeah, well, even in the
know,
US, there's limits.
No, they said it was
But here's the
100,000
thing.
at BDO and a couple
Here's
others.
the messed up part.
BPI.
People do say
Unless
this
they changed it.
in the line of ATM. And you know what the security guard says? Says, yeah, if you withdraw 10,000 pesos each, and then they say up to 50. What I'm saying
I
is,
mean, not in this area.
it
And that was
doesn't-
Angel City.
it doesn't change things. You guys can say whatever, or most expats, especially guys, don't go on Facebook, for crying out loud. Please don't go on
I
Facebook.
find it hilarious.
I mean,
Real quick. So I pinned the comment for a little bit. I think that's what I'm gonna start doing is pinning the comments that I went at because so many of them passed by. Silver Raven said women and cost of living facts. That's where all the benefits end in the Philippines. And I hate to say it, for most guys it is. Although I keep hearing the rich are on their way and that all these guys have all their, their ducks in a row and that, and I get it. I get it. But yes, the women are nice. Yes, the cost of living is cheap. And yes, there are people that have properly planned. I'm not saying all of it is, where everybody's on a budget. But you could go somewhere else and they'll say, yeah, all the guys here on Social Security, that's all I know of. And all the guys are on just a pension. That's all the guys I know. There's a big section of them living on credit cards. And it's a possibility that's kind of what we know is going on. But in general, the facts are the facts. And when you come here with that type of mentality that you're here for the women and everything cheap, I probably scream once a month. I was like, oh hell no, nobody's sucking on my duck. Nobody's sucking on my basketball. Ain't nothing going on here.
what? The
You got
freak?
my point. So
What
in
kind of
other
dribbling are
words,
you talking about?
I'm here, not yours, grapes.
Oh.
Pipe down, grapes.
Right.
So either way, what I'm saying is it looks like I'm not here for the other factor. I brought my sand over here to the beach.
Now, in all fairness, in
It's-
self-defense, guys, it's not grapes. It's raisins.
Is that what was dragging across my face this morning?
It's like mini tea bag.
Oh jeez.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But no, the clear liquid is not Everclear. Oh Jesus Christ, John Ryder. Thank you for the memories. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the
Right.
memories. Thanks for the memories, John Ryder. Everclear. Oh my gosh. I wish there was Everclear here. Seriously. Oh my gosh. You know what I hate is when people give me cocktails and then, oh, here's a Sun Mig, and I'm like, dude, really? You really think that's enough? I mean, Jesus. No, I mean, Everclear, right? That's the real stuff. Everclear, Bacardi 151. You can't do that.
Okay.
Baby. Oh my gosh, you can't do that. Oh my gosh.
Let's save it for TikTok.
Yes.
I don't even think I can even
Yes.
do this.
Well, no, you have to save it for later.
Like this.
Yeah, save it for later. You guys don't want to know. Seriously. Oh my gosh.
Is it? Oh, they want one.
No, no, it's too clean. It's too clean.
What?
It's too clean. It's you look like a freaking nun with baby Jesus. No.
It's all right. So,
No.
Oh,
babe,
man, there it
babe,
went.
they were straight. They were kind of like straight. Anyway,
okay.
yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but anyway.
Yeah, it's another one of our antics, but I think I just lost them.
No.
Or does it feel like there's still some on my face?
Yeah, that's
Well-
talking about a lot of heartburn. That's a lot of hair. But anyway, yeah, it didn't sound right either.
Did I lose one on the floor?
Yes, there's one on the floor.
You know the cats are going to get that, right?
Oh,
That's okay. I'll get it later. I wouldn't mess with it. Where are you going? Okay, so
here
anyway.
he is.
It's
No,
a little
yeah.
joke I was.
Yeah, no. Really.
All right. So where were you at?
Let's scroll down.
I'm just going to start going through. I don't know where you're at. It's kind of odd. Where was the Everclear comment?
That was on the bottom.
Bruce, congratulations. Thanks. Hi, Balut John. Fleeing the Philippines. I thought most were fleeing from responsibilities in the U.S. No, not really. Most of the guys coming here are in a retirement age. So, I mean, do we have guys that come over here, that are fleeing things? Yes. Or coming here to do illegal activities? The answer is yes. They were just saying that like 90 people were caught this quarter that were pedos and stuff. Are there some that have outstanding issues and passports withheld and weird things like that? Yes. But most of the time, people that are coming here for retirement and the people that we talk to are really coming here for retirement because it's too expensive to live in the US. So, yeah.
Now the Fed says, okay, but flooding is not new and will always happen.
Mhm.
Doing nothing is the norm. Now, keep in mind again, check
Bring your mic in.
check
It's
the
pushing.
location. Well, not because the camera changed. Check the location. Remember that if it happened within 10 years, within the decade, odds are it'll happen in your lifetime. Remember that. I keep saying that. A lot of people, you don't have to listen to me.
Yeah, but it happens more often than that, babe. This sometimes happens a few times a year since I've been here.
I know that. But what I'm saying is, if it happened within the decade, it's guaranteed to happen.
I would even say within a few years,
Babe,
I would check the area.
Babe, I know that. babe, I'm not saying there's some rare, more rare.
No, I'm just giving you the.
All right, more rare occasions that, again, point being, even if it's, can it happen more often? Yeah, of course it can. But as a rule, if it happens within a decade. Gary Purdue, good morning from Batangas. Oh yeah,
Good.
yeah.
morning.
Hopefully you're in the good parts of Batangas. Is a big region. Certain parts of Batangas were affected. Certain parts were not. Streak. Like MacArthur, I have returned. That's what Streak
Aw,
says.
hey,
And
Streak.
good to have you back,
thanks.
Streak. Thank you for. And luckily, you weren't directly affected, but I understand in that particular area was, yes. Bruce says, wow, why you're not allowed to talk about Storm Clark? Now, the reason being is because they don't want to promote anything that's, I guess it's like
Exposing natural disaster.
it's
hurting
like fear
people's
mongering, that
feelings.
kind of deal, yes,
Now-
or exploiting
Right, and so
victims of
we've
disaster.
said this before. Just because you see other channels that will say all these things,
Well, we
it
just said
doesn't
it.
mean that you're So I'm just repeating that.
Yeah.
All the news channels are covering it, all the local news, and they're playing it all on YouTube. First off, they're a news agency that has certain things and credentials that I guess they won't have their channels removed. And the other is they're definitely not getting monetized on it. They got sponsorships. And so for multiple reasons, we will not take the full risk. So, and a few $100s a month is not the reasoning. We're more apt to lose the channel from, just
Right.
where it is. And so
Setter errors. Hello from Zamboanga, George and Heidi gang and gang. Yes,
Good
Bob
morning.
Broccoli again. Like weather like typhoons not allowed to talk about. That's strange. It is and it's not. It's kind of like when the C-19 hit. Nobody's allowed to say that word. Well,
if you do, it's going to come up. But yeah, you can't have
yeah, you can, but you'll get flagged.
anything that
Yes.
is dealing with Google AdSense or YouTube rules, which they're pretty much the same. Then yes, just because others don't adhere to it and they're not worried or restart a channel, we're not going through that. I'm not going through that. So
Hey, second win.
because
Second
believe
win
me, I
from
thought that
Batangas.
forever. I was like, oh, well, this other channel's doing it and this channel. And how did this happen? And we learned all that the first few years. And still on a monthly basis, we deal with some issues.
It's still a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
So,
doesn't mean that somebody else. It's kind of like law. It's
yeah, just because
when you're
somebody's out there,
driving
well, I've
and
seen
somebody makes a
everybody,
right turn
it's
on
the
a
same.
no right turn zone or no U-turn zone, and you see everybody do it, and the moment you do it, you get caught. That's kind of one same thing with YouTube. Yeah, not really. But John says I love my wife Filipino cooking. Oh, okay. Bruce Davis is starting to go back into he's going back to American time. I guess jet lag. He's recovering from jet lag. Good to hear that, Bruce. Oh, that's good. That's great. I love that. Billy Jen says I'm eating hot fish soup.
Sweet.
Yeah, see, this is why there's flooding in most metropolitan areas. Streak says 10 years ago, beautiful fish ponds next to us, 50 warehouses now, all empty land now covered with concrete. Now this is in the province. Correct. He's in the province, however, because of again, he's in a somewhat of a warehousey district. That's the problem they face. John Ryder says most expats are not the brightest light bulb.
It happens. Here's the thing. It can happen to a well-planned retirement because I don't care. Nobody's rich enough to handle every medical situation out there because over a certain age, and if they report their correct and true medical issues, it's hard. You won't get no insurance to cover that. And so if you don't have the right insurance, it's going to cover every single medical thing. If it's not one thing, it could possibly be the next. So what I'm saying is even most people will run into that medical thing. So chew on an aspirin and eat an apple and drink some water.
Do it the
But
Filipino
not
way.
even the
Get some
richest people
Tylenol
here
and
can be wiped
coffee
out
and
by
you're good.
medical debt. So it can be risky, guys. So
Hey Thora, how you doing, Thora?
yeah,
Thora says, "Really, expats are leaving. Hopefully, the bad ones are. And thank you for leaving my beloved birth country." Aw. Yes, bad ones. Yes. Our Philippine Hey, Mike, how you doing? Good morning, all. Hey, Mike.
Some of these I've read through, so
Oh.
I guess you weren't listening to me talking. Good morning. And I'm not trying to pick on that section of saying it. Yeah, I went through and announced. There's
Right.
Joe.
See,
Good morning,
Racetrack
Joe.
says a friend of mine has a car that was flooded up to the seat. He asked if it's well, no, it's not. It really isn't. Unfortunately, you're just anything that's damaged by the flood, you might as well write it off. Okay, yeah. See, Joe M says before I went to a place in good practice to bicycle the entire area. My place is in Habay 1, Cavite was safe, and yet water did not come close. Now, keep in mind again when they say now the reason why you said this because Cavite is one of the affected areas. Remember, even the smallest area are still big areas. So Cavite is still a big area. There's a lot of places that are safe. There are a lot of places that are affected. So he's saying in his area, he scouted it out. It seems
safe, and it was.
Good for you, Joe. Good to hear that you're okay and your stuff. John Ryder says if they built homes like in Louisiana, they'd be good today. Well, Bruce says, yeah, true facts, John. Well, the problem you have is, remember, building requires money, and a lot of these people don't have that. Especially, it's kind of sad. The ones that are affected the worst are the ones who have the least money. Yeah, see, Ted says same thing. They can build Cat 5 houses in the U.S., but don't. It's called money. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Bob Broccoli says international travel is complex.
Yeah,
topic.
and not everything we say is golden. We never said it was, okay? But we're not saying that you guys will even run into these issues. There's plenty of expats that don't, but usually something,
Yeah,
I guess I
there's
should have explained, something will eventually get to expats. It's how you actually handle it. And these things could happen to you in the US. And some of these guys don't even, go to the hospital or doctor appointments and everything's fine. It's, you know, that's just the where it is. And so there are people that come here and they're already married to a Filipina, or things work out fine. They build these houses, everything's coming along. I mean, it's just that you're in a different country and things can actually happen, and you're just really far from home. And a lot of people start aging, and different levels of what would happen to you in the US when you hit your older years. Here it's going to be a lot more complicated, and I'm learning that even in the last couple years my health has actually changed. But we're not going back to the US. It's way too expensive currently, and that's not even a lie. We do not have the money, with the way the country changed so quick, to actually go back to the US. We can, but I mean, to reset up, to redo deposits and set up everything, it would probably be quite expensive. And a lot of expats that have already moved over here are faced with that same dilemma. And so we are not stuck, okay? But it'd be really expensive to try to attempt to go back and live in the US. And we are not at that point where we would actually need to live on quote unquote welfare or go into housing or any of that, as it's been suggested. We just, for what's going on there politically, crime wise, cost wise, we have our own children and family and friends that are looking to coming to Asia. If anything, if we ever thought there was something going on here, we would probably go somewhere else, like back to Mexico, or, so we're free to travel. It's just really expensive to live in the US. So my biggest reasoning is cost. So, and then, like I said, this is where George is born and raised, and
Yeah.
there's
Now,
so many reasons to stay.
actually, somewhat positive. I said somewhat because, again, a lot of people can't afford this. Actually, I did show this post at one point in time with Heidi. There are some compounds here in the Philippines that have flood barriers. What I'm saying is they actually have, because the normal thing in the Philippines, they have usually a family home, a family compound where all the family lives in, and they all live in that big lot. You know what I'm saying? Now, they have been, or there are, yes, please. Now, there are compounds here that have flood barriers, meaning the whole neighborhood's flooded, but that compound has the wall and the gate, and it keeps the floodwaters out. They make these in the US. I'm very familiar with certain people who actually do this type, they own the business for this type of living. And same thing here in the Philippines, they exist here. They are companies that build flood barriers for this specific reason. I'm saying, keep in mind, I guess as they say in the movies, let's put a pin on it. Put that pin in your head if you're like, well, her I'm with a Filipina, this is where she lives. It's a flood zone. Kind of like, remember Armstrong? He had certain materials that it prevents the water from seeping in. Remember that? That's what I'm saying. They do have, I mean, obviously, you're not going to be the builder who's going to do the wall and everything, but they do have companies that do that for you. So this is an option for you if you're going to live in an area where it's prone to flooding. Because actually, there's a lot of expats that no, I'm not picking on anybody again. There's a lot of expats I've seen on YouTube, several of them, that, oh, I got this house cheap because the house got flooded out. The people just want to get rid of it. And I'm like, oh,
Or cheap land, yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, if you're one of those people, like, got a good deal, you got the land cheap, and because it's a flood zone, well, maybe you should invest in these barriers. Just saying.
Yeah, I guess the thing would be is just don't be desperate. Would be
No.
my piece of
Again, like,
advice.
like I said, but you can't move the family out of their land either if you're in a relationship and then you're kind of, might as well
You
build a
just
flood
have to,
barrier
yeah.
around your family. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah. Pablo Chicano says is, I think Ricky's Mexican. His name is Ricardo. Ricardo. There you go. Lucy, I'm home.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ricky Ricardo. But was he from? I thought he was from Cuba.
No.
What
Yeah, I know that. I was just,
Oh,
but yeah, no. He's just making it funny. Yeah. Ruby says, I've always mentioned in the past to have plan B.
Yeah.
Yeah, have plan B, C, D, and E. Yeah.
And food and grocery items, non-perishable items, and basic commodity stock ups, and have emergency
And
cash.
have cash.
So we have all the above. So we have the money and ability to buy 2 plane tickets, whether it's on a credit card, which we do have, and then cash. We have cash and home, and then we keep the side stock. So in other words, we always have a couple extra bags of rice. We have some canned stuff. We have a can opener. We keep extra bottles of water. So, and then we've shown you guys our bug out bags.
We have emergency chlorine tablets.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we try to. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Ruby, yes.
Geechee Lion says, are expats leaving the Philippines for the weather? Well,
It's one of the reasons.
extreme weather, yes.
I mean, you can only do so much of that, and most of the guys are just going where other people are like, this is where the women are, this is where you should go, this is so nice, and a lot of them are showing their areas. We've seen them on Facebook. I've seen enough videos in the last 3 days. It's just totally crazy. And yes, expats are involved in living in those areas, and so the weather after that happens a few times, you'll just eventually go. I think about all those new cars and cars that people invested all that money in, and they're ruined now. And so I would think they would think before, because a lot of them are financing it, the Filipinos. That's insane to think that hopefully they, the insurance stayed on them, and just not the ones financed, the ones that are paid and stuff, because insurance is crazy cheap here, but you would think people would prepare for flooding and raise their furniture up, storage food, have cash in hands, etc. They're just not going to do that. Most Filipinos, and that is most guys, live hand to mouth. We've discussed that we notice that there's a larger amount of Filipinos when we go places. It's Filipinos there, not expats. Resorts, hotels, restaurants. Restaurants we walked out paying 2,000 and 3,000 pesos are just full of Filipinos. So it's the other like middle class families and the ones that are working online, or they have OFWs that are sending them in money, or however it's actually happening. It's still a lot of people living hand to mouth. So they're just not. What are the other reasons they won't prep? Because I don't know the Filipinos really prep, the ones out in the provinces, or
some do. It's kind of like I think it has nothing to do with race. I think it's just a mentality. Again, like kind of like those people. For example, again, I just mentioned earlier. Remember there's flood barriers that they make here. People with the flood barriers, odds are the people that have stock, emergency rations.
The ones that prep, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the ones that don't, they just don't. But remember, it's all also money. It's all about money. I mean, a lot of people can't afford it. They really can't.
That's what I was thinking was finances. So that would be my guess.
Yeah. Most of these businesses, again, it breaks my heart because honestly, most business owner I've spoke. Okay. Small business owners. I'm talking about small business, local ones. I'm not talking about the ones with big giant, you know, like a store in the mall. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones that you walk by the street. Most of them live by borrowing money, and these are the people who have businesses. You know what I'm saying? So, Racer X says have a budget and stick on it. Thor says my budget's 1,000 a month in the province. There you go. Now keep in mind she said province, okay? That because that changes things. And for example, this bad boy here, which is again our rent is 10 grand. 10 grand in the province is a freaking mansion. I'm not making that up.
So the same place would be about 5.
Yeah. Ted says I think the problem now this is true in any country. I think the problem is that once the drinking starts and the Filipino enters the room, the budget exits. There you go. Right. Sus, sus. Um, um, Racer X says mine will be 2,500. Okay, now John Ryder, this is another thing. If you have children, or rather, if your partner has children, with child school starting spent over 5,000 this month. No. Yeah, I mean books.
We always say 1,000 a person.
Yeah,
I
books,
mean,
supplies, and the uniforms.
because we spend about 2 a
bags.
month right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's something called what we call bakal, or as a pack lunch, as they say in the US, pack lunch.
Mhm.
Yeah, bakal. Yeah. Sorry, I have to clarify. Bakal, not bakal. Remember, same exact spelling, different pronunciation, different meaning. Bakal is pack lunch. Bakal, exact spelling, means metal. So the same.
What is this guy doing?
No, I don't know. What is he doing?
I don't know, but
He's digging
interesting.
through trash. Oh, is that Alex? Oh no. It's it's a scavenger guy. He's looking through the yeah. Anyway, that'll be good.
Interesting.
If you're a retiree and you're still looking to support your kids financially, then it seems you didn't do a good part in training them about being financially responsible. Oh no. Okay, Ruby's talking about no. Mike Ross was talking about that. What if your kids when
Oh,
he says
plan
kids,
B,
talk about
okay.
adults and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna go. Yeah, that's a little. Cedric Edwards. Hey, Cedric, flying to the USA for 3 weeks, middle of August. Oh, for mom's 90. Wow! Congratulations! Oh, happy birthday!
Wow.
Advance happy birthday for your mom. Yeah, 94th
Yeah.
birthday. Oh my goodness.
I'm planning for George's 94th now.
Wait, what? Sorry. Work hard, play hard, smart financial planning. There you go. John Ryder, I'm gonna stand in the corner with my hand out. There you go.
Right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because of the fire, right? Yeah, my
Wow.
daughter was evacuated from her side of Chico yesterday as they were packing out for a move to the east. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. Hopefully everything's fine as far as her and everything she has and her family. Yes.
I still freak out over those pillows.
California Bear, how you doing, California Bear? 619. Good morning. Hope everything's okay on your side.
Good morning.
Yes, Mike Ross, leave the house for your kids. Times are changing. Generational wealth is more important than ever. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about
John Ryder says I stopped being an ATM a long time ago. He's talking about yeah. I mean, he learned to say no.
and that's something else. When I turned on the camera outside. We have multiple cameras on the house because I just got a
Oh.
message that we're waiting on a.
No, that's Ronald.
I have no
Okay.
idea, but he
All right,
dumped
all right.
trash over there.
No, he arranged the trash for it to be burned. So that means he has orders to burn trash, unfortunately.
Which
Anyway.
is, yeah. Okay, so that isn't a stranger just dumping trash.
No, that's not a stranger. That's Ronald. It's okay. I'm kind of good with names, so sadly I know most of the people. But anyway,
Anyways, I'll leave that out.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the camera was on, and then I'm seeing something like that. That's just one of those things you guys have heard me talk, like when we couldn't get rid of the kids at different points that came here and was like they know an expat's living here, so they were coming here all the time. Issue, people digging through the trash. Then there's been a lot of different things going on, and it just kind of reminded me when I seen that because we are expecting. I just got a message.
no. I
We're
got you.
expecting a delivery for lunch, so we did have one of our secret people are sending lunch over. By the way, I did want to tell you that.
Yes, thank you so much.
That's why I turned the camera on. So we do have locals that actually do that, which is pretty sweet. Probably because I mentioned I wasn't doing. I feel like I'm like blind in my left eye. I just think it's just swelling. I don't know. It's like in my left eye. So the subtle differences in culture and the difference in perspective. I was listening to the group. I'm talking about like what one of the reasons we've held off on a housekeeper is because my ideal of clean, even with George and organizing and all that, he's like, it is clean. And I'm like, no, this is out of place. This is that. The floor has this or this is going on. So if you hire in a housekeeper, your ideal of clean will definitely not be hers. If it's even organized for some Filipinos, then it just has more of an appearance of clean. For example, at our other house, we give the example that we had hired in somebody that was using a housekeeper that was in the neighborhood, recommended everything else. How long did she spend? 2 hours organizing the plastic dishes? And I was like, is she really going to? Hold on. Yeah, they're looking for an address. Hold on. Yeah.
Sorry, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
They're getting directions. Anyways, so
Wait, you sent him the.
all right, so they're looking for directions. That's what I'm saying. He asked me, did I give directions? I didn't give directions. So, anyways, where were we? Okay, so she organized the dishes for a long time. And then all of a sudden, she wiped a few minutes on one section of the walls and then went through and mopped without sweeping. And it's like, there's going to be differences between what expats are seeing and expectations, and then you're like, okay, and then there could be some cultural differences and all of these things. And I said this earlier. Okay, so I'm kind of off on there, and I don't know where he was last, guys. I don't know where he was. I'm just gonna start. I don't know. They leave because the young women don't want them anymore.
What's that?
I'm just reading through. I can't tell you where you were. No, I can't do like 3 things. We were contacted by the person, then they have the information. Now they're calling. Yeah, see, that just came up.
Yeah. Hey, just to Bill, nice having you. Nice having you in the room. Just to Bill. Although that's a funny statement though that he made though.
Uh, um,
John Ryder says I left the US for the price of homes and food. Right.
well, groceries are on the rise here,
Groceries-
but cost is a big factor
It'll
for
still
people.
be cheaper no matter what. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that for the rent we were paying in the US, it's like everything, we can definitely live in the city on that here for what the cost of a 1 or 2 bedroom is in the US just for rent. But I mean, when I think about it, it's actually going to be cost.
No, he's not on his way yet. Thora says I think it's because most are not used to life of not having available with no karaoke, chicken noises, retirement housing are quiet in America. Well, and it's kind of weird.
It's cheap here. These subjects are all over the place today. So
No. She's talking about
no, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about us. So we were off in the beginning, and so every time it's like incomplete thoughts today. But that's what a live is about, I guess. No scripts, just live.
Oh my gosh, Oakland. No, Thor, I'm just reading your statement. Yes, John made lots of money in Cali, lived in San Diego and Alameda across Oakland. Housing costs amazing. Yeah, no. Oakland is really, really bad right now, unfortunately. Yeah. I live in San Diego for a while and I'm familiar with Oakland.
Costs would be
Yeah.
the reason to stay and the nice people, but I think a lot of expats have a hard time adjusting. I've been here over 3 years and there's still issues, but it's the cost and my husband that keeps me here. I'm going to tell you that right now. Never lied about that. I can't see. I mean, I know crime wise things are getting ridiculous over there and attitudes. So I'm liable to end up in jail 3 times a week over there, but it's just it is what it is. It's cost is the biggest thing, and that is going up over here also. So mostly it's going to be anything that cost, that's expat based or anything that's westernized is the things that are not as expensive as US, but it's within reason. So 2,000 is what we outspend a month and live comfortably. Everybody's ideal of comfortable. I mean, that includes AC, hot water. We have all the appliances, microwave, fans. I mean, we have everything, but there's a lot of expats that'll come here on a budget of like 1,000 or 1,200 a month. Like they've got more than that, but that's what they expect to pay. And then they're going to be doing without AC. They're going to be like, well, so and so did it. And it's like, yeah, it depends on the areas and where you're at and all of that. So, realistically, if we wanted to travel Asia all the time, probably need a couple thousand more if we really wanted to do a lot of extras. But that was never our plan to begin with. We've spent our whole lives and last couple years like traveling, going places, eating out, excuse me, and doing all of these things. So it was never our intention to come over here bawling. And that's, we still do stuff. So for the basic, I'd probably say about $3,000 would be if you're going to live in the big cities and for guys that are going to go and eat out all the time and date women. And if they have any kids or family members, yeah, you're going to need double like a pension, Social Security, or big savings. Even savings won't save people if they're coming with Social Security and 50,000 in the bank if an emergency comes up.
Well, like my
just
cross
have to plan.
says, even the ones with emergency
Oh,
funds
snap. There it is.
are one hospitalization from bankruptcy.
Mhm.
5 to 10K is an emergency fund if you're in poor health. It's a death wish. Now, keep in
Yeah,
mind,
it's
for
true.
example, there's things you can't prep for.
Yeah, even if you
And the
have
government's not going
100,000.
to foot the bill or anything like that, or the hospital's not going to foot the bill. For example, when the pandemic hit, pandemic treatment costs an average of 3 million pesos. Now, a lot of land went up for sale during that time because Filipinos sold their land. And I mean, most Filipinos you talk to who's again had to undergo the treatment and sold their land for family, they'll always tell you it's only land. Um,
Yeah.
Thor says they should already know about getting money before the storm. Gosh, no. Well, again, it's one of those things that most of the time you don't even think about for the most part because everybody's always in a happy mood, kind of sunny day scenario for the most part. But and also, you know, um, trying to think in the U.S. I mean, in the US, it's about the same thing too, but the odds of ATMs being out of money is lower probability than there is in the
Well, and
Philippines.
here's the thing, it happens way more. I mean, this could be twice a month that people are getting flooded out in the same areas. That's why I said to you, don't these people, like the Filipinos in certain areas, they just dry up the place and restock the stores and move on. It's like secondhand and second nature to them.
Yeah, and even in places that it doesn't flood or anything, remember the one. What I'm saying is, for example, in our area, it barely floods. So, but here's the thing. Guess what? All of the provinces around us are flooded. Where do they run to? Here. You know what that means? They all flock the ATMs.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
this is
like I mentioned earlier, the
yeah,
ATMs here actually run out of money,
yeah.
even
On
without a
on a good
storm.
day, but when storms come, usually it's honestly when this hit. I mean, today it hasn't rained yet so far. But what I'm saying is there were cars where I've never seen before in the neighborhood because I know these are from the outlying regions kind of deal.
Guys, we would ask that if you guys haven't subscribed, to subscribe. We know a lot of people are being unsubscribed. About half the people that watch our live streams and videos are not subscribed. We would appreciate that. Sharing the video and making comments today and being in the conversation helps push our videos out. And we do appreciate that. And we do appreciate the members and everybody that's here today for sure. Never forget that, guys.
Yeah, remember too that there's also the other thing if there's no ATM available. If available, you may be able to wire money toward to yourself. Correct. My limit to transfer money to MoneyGram is 1,500. You guys can put the limit to. It's kind of like one of those what do you call that? Life hacks. But remember, sometimes even the ones that the Western Union area
Hey, good morning,
locations
Enigma.
may not have the cash to give your money out and says, "Can you please wait till tomorrow?" or "Can you please wait till next week?" That kind of deal. So just remember, it's not foolproof.
We have Hussein. He's in the room here. Welcome. You might have been in here before, but you seem like a new member. He says, I visit the Philippines once every 6 months for a month, and I find myself healthier and in good mood because he says he walks and eats fresh fruits and vegetables, and he's from Saudi. Good morning, good evening. So it can happen. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm not sure if that's an I or an L. Ed LC or IC. Hey, the YouTube pillow is turned right upside up today. D
Ah,
DeSalvo, wondering if you know personally all the expats who moved to here, then after a while just decided to go back to the US. My wife and I are thinking hard about it.
us, yes. This is from experience of talking to people. Yes, people that we have known have actually left. Yes.
Actually, now that you mention it, a lot of them aren't
It
here.
most
But
of
anyway,
it most of it and that we've actually friends that have left have been medical, and the other is some finances. So, and it's usually tied together. So once they hit something that they don't like the hospitals or need a lot of medical, they just decide to go back. So you just have to figure what's going on in your life. I've said this before, and a lot of people like, oh, well, it's bad advice. No, I don't know where people are in their lives. And those that are going to get a hold of us that want to talk further about it, we've talked to people about, more of the situation, but we don't know. I mean, is things getting so expensive for you in the US? How tolerant of you are this, and where's your health at? And a lot of the people we talk to will say my health is not really good. And then you find out, oh yes, I need AC, and some of them are. I hate to say it, a lot of Americans are spoiled, so it's hard for them to deal with some of the hospitals because not all of them are going to come here and just start going to Clark Medical. I call Clark Center Medical. Not all the hospitals are in good shape, so yes, it could be shocking for some people. Not everything's available. Everything's dealing like the U.S. It's specific areas and where you're actually going to live. But I think the medical and the finances is what gets people. And we're just not talking about because they were dirt poor. They start giving to the family. It's like Expat John. That's like a pure example of a lot of people here. Some will come just living on credit cards. Some will just come trying to live on savings. The others are on pensions and Social Security. The people we know are the pension and Social Security people, and they bring X amount of money, and then they run into trying to do things too quick. Marriage, they start building, they start, too much money going out. And even we didn't know how much we would bleed out the first year and a half we were here. So it was really, really, really something different in the beginning. So,
Yeah, no.
and so that's what happens. And if you don't have somebody with you to like offset, like, skin tax is a real thing. You may be overcharged for if you're buying land with a girlfriend or a wife or something, and so many different things. People
If you
get
have a
into legal
Filipino partner,
matters.
let them try to deal with it
Living
as
in a
much as
foreign land
possible.
is never as easy as some people.
Right.
And then for others, it could be just that simple. So there are people that come in here on way less money. They're super happy. Nothing ever happened. There's a whole group of those, that come in on the bare minimum, Social Security, and they do just fine. Will things happen down the road? Yes. And we try to cover some of these things, like, they come in on that 1,100 a month, or they're trying to live on Social Security amounts they're not supposed to, like the low income, and they're collecting all their stuff back there. This does happen. So they come over here and they start living, and then things like their checks get cut off because their mail bounces from their US address, and then they're no longer receiving money, and months go by, and so many different things can happen when you get older. You don't turn in the letters you're supposed to once you've informed Social Security you're here. That's another matter. And so then they lose their Social Security checks, and they end up going back to the US permanently. They just don't want to deal with that no more. And when you get to be 75, 70, 65, 70, and you lose your check and your money's tied up for 2 months, and those didn't plan, don't have a savings, and all this stuff happens, no family, no friends, and they're just stuck in a house and they're shut in, major problem. They go home. So it is.
Right.
There's a lot of
And
different things.
remember, there's no problems or solutions. There's no one answer to all or end all. What I'm saying is, for example, even the banking thing situation, it's as simple as the bank cuts you off because they're not sure if your card was stolen and somebody flew to the Philippines and,
don't have a second way to
or
get
you know
to
what I'm
your
saying?
money.
And then certain banks deal with you online, some don't. You have to fly back to the US to deal with it.
The phones, and that's why our channel gets called a know-it-all, or we know it all, or harsh
We never do.
truths, or we're lying and we're this. No, it's kind of like a lot of things going on in the US with politics and everything. They just don't want to hear the truth, and when the real truth is out there, it's
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
know.
sorry,
It
it's not
is
what you
it
want to
is.
hear, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more going on, and that's why people appreciate when we're like, hey, this is going on. But the true ones contact us, get with us, they send emails, and they're like, hey, is this really going on? And it actually, Yep.
Yeah. Corner Clubhouse Cobalt says, suppose I arrive in the Philippines on August 1st. Hopefully there won't be any delays. Good to hear that. That's great news. Hopefully you'll be here soon. PH Expat Prepper says the food is what you make it. So much fresh produce, meats, and options. Learn to cook what you like. And Mike Ross
That
says,
is true.
I agree. I never understood the food argument. Now keep in mind, remember, food is an opinion. It's an acquired taste to your own taste buds. What one person will say, I love this, it's great. The other will say, I hate it, it's horrible. Same exact food. And
Well,
remember, same thing, like Heidi experienced herself. Her favorite dish, curry here, is completely different in that other area. Same exact dish, completely different.
and here's the thing. To continue on what I'm saying about I can agree and disagree on that. And again, um, so much fresh produce, meat, and options depends on where you go.
Well,
You're going to
yeah,
hear one
well,
person
it
saying you
depends
could go
on.
here and go there, and it's an option. Throughout the years, I have found some things are super fresh, and then you're going to get, and it doesn't have anything to do with the time of day and that you should be going here or going there. No, even at noon, you could see half wilted vegetables in the street of Angel City and Mablaka. The same
Well,
with
it again,
the,
it
if you
all
don't go
varies.
super early AM, and then of course
And if
costs
you
are going up. But yes, cooking, if you don't like what food's out there and everything. So definitely shopping, cooking, and restaurants are going to be something different. Again, it's an
and whether
adjustment.
it's cooked or uncooked, if you don't cook or eat it the same day, it may not make it the next day. Just saying,
Yeah,
guys.
there's not a lot of preservatives, of course. So
Correct.
you cook it the
Now,
same day.
now also be aware too. You're gonna have to adjust your, like you said, like you can make your own food, but the problem you'll face, guys, again, and Peach Expat Prepper and Mike Ross will agree with me on this. For example, sprigs of onions. You don't sprigs this big.
Yeah,
You're
you
not talking
don't.
about the little tiny sprigs. We're talking about sprigs this big. You know what I'm saying? You have to adjust. Like actually, when we were in the U.S., Heidi used to ask me, "How come you don't cook Filipino food?" Because I said, I do, but the problem is most of the ingredients are not readily available. You'll experience that here too. And also, cuts are different here. For example, there's something called a double cut, which I don't think they ever used that term in the U.S. And you know what I mean?
Huh, yeah.
There's except for a pork chop, that's kind of universal. But there's adobo
Be
cuts, sisig
different.
cuts. They have different names for
Well,
them.
they do in Mexico too.
No,
Each
no, no.
one of
Well,
them
adobo. They have adobo in Mexico, yes, but
countries are like that. They have different names for the way they've
yeah,
chopped meat.
correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Hey,
remember,
good morning,
it doesn't mean
Cindy.
it's what you think it is. It is what it is. For example, tocino in Filipino and tocino in Spanish are two different things. Tocino in Spanish is bacon. Tocino in Philippines is this sweet red meat, completely different. But anyway, um, yes, train the housekeeper to cook the food the way you like. Correct. Every housekeeper we've ever had when I was growing up, my mom had to
And
train
it's
them.
going to
Yes,
take a
of course.
while. And I started discussing bringing somebody in again, and you have to decide if you're going to let them live in, which is a no for us with our different hours and sleeping. And then it's just after that, then it's a matter of cleaning, what you're going to have them do, settling the money. And so it would be like that in the US, honestly, except for it's just way more expensive there. And so it's just never that easy.
Yeah.
So
And Big Colonel says, yeah, yes, the foods are not the best, but the fruit is great. I'd give anything for lamb chop now and then. Yeah, it's kind of weird that lamb chops are not common, but goat meat is common. It's just one of those things. But
well, and
anyway,
here's another thing, the language barrier will become an issue at some point. So if you get the housekeeper because you can afford one and you're bringing them in, then you're going to have, and most of you guys are guys, so I have to address it to you, is that you're going to be having your Filipina say something to the housekeeper, this needs to be done and that needs to be done because there could be a language barrier. And then it's just going to be like, well, it sounds like I'm just complaining at her all the time. You tell her, and it could cause an actual issue within the house. A rift.
yeah.
So,
Like Grandpa
mm,
says, the only reason why expats go to the Philippines as opposed to Vietnam is because English is spoken widely, because Vietnam has
mhm.
beautiful girls, delicious food, cheaper cost of living.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what puts people over here is the language barrier. But then we've said from the beginning, the major trade-offs. It's cheap here, but the infrastructure, is just way off for me. But you guys got to put in place that some guys will live here because their wives are from the Philippines and they want to stay near their families. Okay, so this is George's home, area. So we're in the Philippines for multiple reasons, but family's going to be one of them. Cost is the other. The other things is, because we hear from people, oh, Heidi, you're complaining all the time and whining all the time. Why are you even there? Well, first off, it's because I am, and this is where I'm going to stay. One, I've already made a full commitment for years. And then the other is that this is where you're from and everything. And, I can't change any of that, but I'm just not going to up and take off either. So it's a big major trade-off. It really is and
Right.
some people will be like, I can deal with that. And they say they can. And then they go and they make the move. Some don't even come at all, ever, never, ever been here. And they don't have any idea of the culture. And they're set in some sort of, I call it daydream land or something for a while. Like they'll go through that. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. And that would be that adjustment stage and everything. And boom. And then that's it. And then they leave for that reason. Eventually it'll get to that person, eventually over and over again. Then they start missing family. And that's another side reason. People start to miss what family they have. So
Yeah.
that
So
could be another reason.
yeah, on the food side again, here's a good example of subjective. Big Colonel says jackfruit, or the jackfruits of family, as I would call it.
Yes, jackfruit.
You have jackfruit, you have jackfruit, you have goyabano, and you have durian. Okay. Well, I'm saying this family of fruits, again, it's subjective. What I'm saying is, let's go to the durian, the most extreme of all these jackfruit family. The durian. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people hate it. It's not everybody has the same taste. Same thing with jackfruit. I'm pretty sure some of you love jackfruit, some of you hate it. So food is kind of, one of those things.
I mean, I myself have found when it comes to food that it is. It's like the U.S. The healthier and fresher is more expensive. It's the same here. It's not changing. Meat during the pandemic and after the pandemic has gone up. Eggs have gone up. Fresh fruits and vegetables in our area. We know it's cheap in certain areas, that's outside of our area. But in general, every time I've calculated when I've been in a different area, it is still probably about the price of the US when it comes to vegetables, unless it's certain vegetables that are more. What is the camote? Them are fairly inexpensive. Certain vegetables are really inexpensive, but it's just
Potatoes,
ones
sweet
that I don't.
potatoes.
No, potatoes and sweet potatoes are not cheap. Maybe
Oh, you said
that,
camote.
or
Camote
what's the
is-
other one? The chai motis, the green thing is what I'm talking about.
Oh, sayote.
Chai
Sayote.
moti. I said the wrong one. The green ones.
Yeah, sayote.
Yeah, which is I don't know what. Yeah, it's kind of different for me.
Yeah,
I've tried cooking them.
Spelled as chimote, but
They have them
it's
in
pronounced as
Mexico
sayote.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Ed LC says if flooding happens in 1 decade, historically it happened within 1 decade. Now, Thora says, wow, that's new to me, not being able to talk about a certain word like the big C. That's crazy. Yes. And as Jan Ryder, no, Manny C says, let's face it, YouTube does what YouTube does. I never understand why one channel gets away with breaking rules and others get hit hard.
There's several of them here
Correct.
lately. Not within our niche. I'm talking about like different things, like a bunch of them out there talking about the Gypsy Rose and what happened with her and her mother. And then you have other people here lately talking about Justin Bieber and his party favors. If you go into that and you say the wrong words or you say certain things, you can demonetize. It'll be the least of their problems. And some of them have been probably totally, you just don't realize it. It says they're monetized, but they're not really monetized. They're just getting money from other places. And so they've got sponsors on the side. They're promoting other things. There's side payments. There's, the other things, memberships. And well, with membership, I think what happens with the memberships? That's gone too, right? Or is that something separate? I'm not sure. I don't know. What happens with memberships if they're demonetized? Through AdSense, is that separate?
It's separate.
Okay, so I don't know, George.
Actually, there's a lot of demonetized channels that they live on that one. Yes.
Okay, so I don't know, and then it's just not worth the strike. Like for us, there's so much investment in equipment and time, and for the people. And then if the channel's just taken because it's just not worth it. So believe me, we've always said we would love to do way more stuff. And believe me, there's times that we wanted to cover like Filipino life and some of the things that go on and how they live and some of the childhood diseases and the Siamese twins that live here in Pampanga, all kinds of things we could go through and cover. It's just things that aren't really to be covered.
Yeah.
Shocking things and certain news that are more shocking and yeah. And some will cover it and some do cover it and it's been more than fine.
Now, Page Expat Prepper gives Nagai Vapes good props. He says good advice. To be fair to the U.S., the whole world's gone crazy. And this is Nagai Vapes advice.
Yes.
Nagai Vape says, for anyone thinking of coming back to the U.S., I would wait till after November and see how things turn out.
That's what I
fear for the worst
said.
possible.
That's what I said, but it happened during the big C, after the big C, the price is skyrocketing. We have adult children in their 30s that are living there, living their life, and we know that it's not. We still keep in contact with everybody. It's crazy. And so, I wouldn't want to live in that and pay high prices. So crazy. So we definitely believe in that a million times over. So that's something else people have been discussing prepping for, even here. There's many reasons to even do it here. So your theory, okay, so I was just asking him if we thought we could actually mention it. The same thing goes with when it gets near election time and things that are going on around the world during that time. We still suggest that people add to their savings, where they have access to it based on that. Could be government shutdowns, could be WW5, WW6, 3, 4. I don't keep track of the WARZs.
It's only 3.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Now, Ed says a flood wall is only as good as how strong it is. Yes, and that's why, again, that's why I said there are companies that actually do this for you. It's kind of like what Ed is saying is, if you decide to build it yourself, be aware that a layer of sealed brick wall is not going to stop the water, because remember, that's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of psi. Okay. Ayan, nakaabot. Good day sa lahat. Oh, I finally made it. Good day to everybody. That's what Enigma says. Everybody. Mike Ross says, buddy of mine gave me a bag of freeze dried Skittles. I was blown away. Seriously, right? I know.
Oh, no. Freeze dried Skittles, huh? Yeah. PH Forever says, I have yet to do any candy, but my freeze dried mangoes never last long. Yeah, I like the freeze dried mangoes or we've got a dehydrator and we have a steamer that we do a lot of steam.
What is
things.
this?
That is the chicken we had delivered. Yeah. That's the delivery we were talking about. Private schools was 100,000 and supplies is 15,000. Is that for? So was that for the fees for the school? Was that just for the month,
I think
or
it's
because I know some private schools that are up there can actually be that per month. So some really nice ones.
Yeah, price varies depending on the school, how
Yeah.
exclusive it is. Yes.
Mhm. Yep.
Streak, actually, this is actually a good question. Do they raise the roads there too? MacArthur is now 4 feet higher than 10 years ago here. Yes, they do. As a general rule, most of the roads. Well, see, here's the thing.
Hey, Dallas.
As a rule, the Philippines always builds up their roads. The roads are always higher. In fact, I think for every 10 years, it raises by a foot or something like that. But yeah, most of the roads go higher and higher and higher.
Uh, Ted says get a Rumble channel for those times. Here's the thing. What people don't realize is all those others also have rules. They really do. Except for you're not being paid for them. So people aren't worried about losing the money. But we've looked into some of those to put additional content over the last couple years to do the same thing. Like, what's the other one that the others go off and do their little
Discord.
rants? Okay, Discord. They all have them same rules. They're just over there doing that. So there's still rules about not saying this or doing that or bullying or talking bad about the government. They all Rumble and all these have base rules.
they do, but they're not as restrictive as YouTube.
Well, I know, I got that,
Mhm.
but we're not going to go traipse over there. Just actually do it. I mean, all of our stuff is invested in TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. These are rubbing against my ears. My cute little dinosaur earrings.
So CBGB, I ask you, what did you do? What did you do, CBGB? CBGB says my wife, my asawa, came at me with a bolo, so
Oh,
I'm hiding in
snap.
Manila waiting for the next plane.
All right.
Ted Danigan says that's why I live in a country. I can only argue with my wife. I can't win with that one. There you go.
Right.
Sorry. John Ryder, again, this is a good.
That is true.
This is true.
We've
Best
advised
ATM
that
is at
before.
casinos. Yes.
Yes, we've advised
Yes.
that.
Definitely
Long
true.
time ago, but yes. And as a matter of fact, when we first got here, that's where you actually went. So.
Cindy G, watching ads. Hold on. See you soon. Aw.
Yeah.
Yes, Chase Bank has branches in Manila. Yes, they according to their site.
Bruce said when I got back in the States after being in the Philippines, burgers and fries at a pop was $12.49, high price crap. Yeah. No. And there's a difference in prices. Like when we order something, we know that there's a big jump when it gets to the US. But after you've been here a few years, like me, it's kind of like you start thinking on the Filipino mentality. It's like, okay, well, even if somebody's making 1,000 pesos, that seems high. This seems high. No, I won't pay that. And then you're kind of like a Filipino. Yeah, I'm not paying that. And so it's like just because you got it doesn't mean to spend it. So it didn't change anymore in the US. It's like if somebody said something was 20 and you knew it was worth $5, you just be like, yeah, no, that's not happening today. So you'll adjust. At first, when I first got here, it's like when you're holding 30,000 pesos, it's like, well, wow, that chair is only 15,000 pesos. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. And so then after a while, you start calculating. Stuff,
Right.
So.
Right. Ed says.
Hey, Victoria. Good morning.
Oh, hi, Victoria. Ed says durian is strong. It's like spice or like coffee. Ice cream made with it is awesome. I would never eat it raw. Too strong. Now again, remember,
I have not experienced that yet.
durian. Okay. Again, either you love it or hate it. Now, the thing is, it does have a very offsetting smell too. To me, it smells good, but that tells you that I like durian. I love durian, and Ed will agree probably with me too that he likes the smell too. because to a lot of people, from to me, I could never smell it that way. A lot of people say that it smells like rotting meat. That's what they say. But I like durian. It means I don't smell that. I don't perceive it that way. So I'm just letting you guys know.
America loves Trump. He will bring us together again.
Okay, Dallas says not.
And remember, guys,
AK
we always say
Dallas.
this channel is about a topic of discussion and what we say on here and everything. We got to go through that full thing of saying it's only a discussion. We're not here to turn one person against another. We're not here supporting one party over the other. We really are about as neutral as possible, no matter what is said on this channel.
Well, it's kind of like
saying that there's been all this stuff going around, like when everything happened to Trump and the attack and everything, there's been a bunch of stuff, and then we got into the agents, and then now Kamala's come out. They're saying Biden's been cloned. We've seen everything on television on this side, and through YouTube and all that. And I'm like, okay, well, I said a few months ago that watch, she'll come in because he's been sick, and she'll come in, she'll be running for presidency. And I said that they're going to throw Michelle Obama in there, and believe me, no political ties whatsoever. And I said, she's coming. Like, no, they haven't, they're not endorsing her or nothing else. And then a few days after that, they just announced the Obamas just did. And I said, watch, one of those Obamas are going to jump on that ticket. Yeah. And now they're starting to say, and I haven't watched for a few days, but all I know is now they're saying, oh, now Trump's going down because here comes Kamala, and that he's losing in the polls now, and now he's got somebody. And I'm like, who knows? You got, it's just not CNN and Fox out there doing this stuff. You got the world out there covering.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows, really.
No, but all I know is they're saying that if he wins, if Trump wins, there's going to be a big upset. And they're saying that if she wins with Michelle Obama or goes through with Hillary Clinton or pulls in Gavin Newsom with her or something, that it's going to be like off the chain. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So where they didn't, I don't know, guys, but there could be a World War VI coming up.
Yeah. You're just skipping wars here, aren't we?
Yeah, well, there could be a few in between.
Engelbert Saw says, Mamuran poken? Alina, tinutnang na. Alina minurang Kenny. He says, is it still raining there? I said, no, hasn't rained here since today.
That is true.
Yeah, and says, ingat kayo. Well, be safe.
I think the only thing got flooded out was the plants. It was always raining when we're out there feeding the cats and the dog, and we've let the dog in.
That's the thing. Like Mike Ross says, durian is sweet. It's like politics. Nobody has the same opinion about it. It's very subjective.
That's what I've heard.
Correct.
Creamy, but it says it smells.
Yeah, sweet, creamy custard to me, but everyone in my family says it tastes like sour cream and onion. No, see, that's the thing. It's weird how people perceive the exact same food and have a completely different opinion.
But it says we all don't like the smell, and that's what I heard, that like in certain Asian countries they won't even let you bring it to near a hotel room, or there's all kinds of rules.
Unless you're in Cebu.
I don't know, but
you can't.
Guess we're gonna have to. I'll try that before I do
durian is Cebu's biggest import.
But see, here's the problem with my stomach surgery before and how nauseous I am all the time. I'm sure I don't know if I can like smell it where I'm used to smelling as part of my tasting, like most people. How you can get past it.
I love this. I love durian. I can't get enough of it.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to get it, guys.
In fact, they have actually
pick it up the next time. We'll sit down and do a video.
They actually have stores in that area, in Visayas area, where you go in the store, they put a sheet out on the table, they put the durian on the table, and they give you plastic gloves and you eat it that way. No, really, this is a real thing. Anyway. Barry and the PI, good morning. I made the live stream.
Harris is closing the gap. That's what they're saying. They're saying that he had a good chance against, this is just from my eyes, from all the different channels, and the perspective of, I'd have been like, hey, Trump's going to clean up. Trump's going to clean up. And then it was like, we we were watching how the president was going down, and there was like this big cover up. I was like, does nobody see that? Did nobody see that? And oh my God, he's going to totally win now because of what happened. But then it's like a soap opera. It's like I said before, it's like a train
Well,
wreck.
and like I said,
It's
nobody
like
knows.
crazy.
Nobody really
It's
knows.
right. And it's like, well, I won't vote for him and I won't do this. And then I'm like, who knows? I think it depends on who she tries to bring in that ticket. And then I think it depends on, I don't know. And here's the thing. Does anybody know if they still are going to, I know they dropped the one case on Trump. What about that other pending one? Is he going to be on House? Oh, we can't go on that.
Actually. So yeah, again, politics. You can't win about this. Again, we're being neutral about it. Again, it's anybody's
that's
game.
what he was just
and
saying. It's
yeah, I was just saying again. A lot of what Heidi says actually is not our opinion.
Meant to
She
say
actually
that other what we're seeing.
you did say
on
that. You
television.
did say
Okay,
that. But
yeah.
the problem is, people tend to hear what they want to hear,
Yeah, so we don't want to.
and you know that kind
There's
of
a
deal.
lot going on, but
Yeah.
yes, I mean we get where it's all going, and that's another thing is, yeah. Yeah, we know there's some state to state lawsuits and stuff with what's going on. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, see, again, Ed, again, that's the point is, again, thought, ponder, wonder, all we're doing is expanding our thinking. The problem we
Yeah.
have is, again, there's some certain people who like to just twist things for some strange reason. They think everything's
just
about
hard.
them. It's just weird. Yeah.
And not you guys
No,
specifically.
no,
We just
no.
mean the world in general
Yeah.
these days. I've seen probably 1 million people. Well, I can't say it's been 1 million. I would no less say that I've seen 1,000 people like show up on our screen that are covering the political thing, from all ages to all races to everything. And the same with the things on 90 Day Fiance, and the same thing on the celebrities, and the same thing. And there's so many different things and information. It's just like an information superhighway on.
Well, there's something
good thoughts,
called
bad thoughts.
too much
and,
information is a bad thing.
Yeah, overload. So it's crazy.
Right.
So, thanks, guys.
And
Okay.
yeah. Victoria says you could be right. Something said in the news about building sooner. They use a 3-letter.
Yes, as a reference, it seems. Yeah, so it's it's the same as a matter of fact, they just announced in the newspaper that I was reading the last couple of days. They're saying the next big C is on its way already, and so we can't even. So
Hopefully not.
health-wise,
No,
yeah,
really, hopefully not.
No, there's
I
all kinds of
mean,
stuff going on.
Jiminy
guys. So
Crickets. I
just
mean, how many more do we need?
always be informed and check things out for yourself, guys. But in saying that, we're going to wrap this up. Our next live stream should be Tuesday Philippine time. It'll be Monday in the US. It'll be later in the afternoon for those in Australia. We do appreciate everybody joining us.
Yes, thank you guys. We love you all.
And we appreciate all the members. If you guys aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. If you're not a member, there is a lot of extra content going back from Mexico. Photos, other community posts and everything. And so we do appreciate.
Thank you so much, Ted. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Where was?
Cool.
Oh, there he is. I was like, LG. There's LG in the house.
Yeah, LG was in the house. Justin Bill was in the house.
Ted, Sarah,
Victoria,
Thera, John Ryder.
Cindy G was with us today. Kay Dallas, of course.
Mike Ross,
John Ryder. Bruce Davis, of course. Welcome back home.
Scott, Enigma. Was Scott in there today?
Paige, Expat Prepper. Mike Ross, of course. Can't forget Mike Ross. Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. Sorry.
AJ Happ is
AJ Happ was with us today. Thanks so much. Streak. Oh, hey, Streak again. Thanks so much.
Good looking guy.
Hey, you talking about the guy or the cat?
Both.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. We love you all. Thank you for being with us. Big Colonel was with us today, too. Thank you, guys. Can't wait to see you then. Bye, guys. Love you all. Oh wait, let's see.
Did you get everybody in there, Sarah?
Yeah, Engelbert Salad. That's right. Thor says goodbye. Ted says have a good day, everyone. Okie dokie says Victoria Nagai Vapes, of course. Hey, Nagai Vapes. Yes. Have a good day. Have a wonderful day. Robin Mary, K Dallas, of course.
Lost PH, Robin, Mary.
Just as I come on. That's what Very says. Engelbert says, oops, almost forgot the press like button. Oh, press the like button. Yes, thank you. Brian Nicole saying, please send us some of the rain. That's what he says. Right. Night night.
We dealt with that for a while.
Bye
so-
guys.
All
Love
right.
you
See you guys
all.
later.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
guys.